right. How is everybody doing tonight? Wait a minute, what happened? Where did she go?
I don't know.
We lost Teresa, Miss Martin Muses, but there she is. Welcome everybody. Welcome back, Teresa. Welcome everybody to another Monday night. It is a stream by the Crossroads. My name is Scott. Maybe I should have my microphone next to me. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I'm sorry, I'm a little hot mess. I'm not used to having a computer that works, so I'm trying to do like 1,000 things now. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my Oberyn Martell and Littlefinger level supporters, people that helped me get this computer. Everybody did, the hot pie level and everything, but you know, the Oberyn and the Littlefingers get shout out. So at the Littlefinger or the Oberyn level, we have Culture Casino and we have Lady Tauriel, and I like to thank them. And at the highest level, that Littlefinger, that cheddar cheese type of guy, we have Tina Bojan, we have Toxic Man Flu, Jack D, and who knew that, wait a minute, what's his name now? Who knew that salt? Let's see. Who knew that salt must flow? Okay, different name. I like it. And everybody else who's also hot pie, thank you, Small Time, for being a new member. Shane G, Michail Woolf, OrdsBored, Accidental Taurus, Storyman Jack, new to the membership, Karen Prime, DoLiFiEd, Nerd Cookies, and that is everybody. If you'd like to become a channel member, the link is in the description, and I will try to find it and drop it in there if we don't have the great mod of mods Machini 90 out there. But let me introduce my panel. First below me, before she disappears again, the Rose, Miss Martin Muses.
Hello. I think I got back from the alternate universe and sped right in. Great to be here as always. I love these discussions.
Yes. We were talking about it backstage. This is one of our more chill streams, and I love it. I love talking about this stuff with you guys, you and Lady Tauriel and Stig, according to Christy, and once in a blue moon, Gary from Nerdrotic, and one of my co-hosts, because I consider you guys co-hosts, Jayne Theory. How are you, Jayne?
Hello, I'm doing fantastic. Happy to be here. Can't wait to get started.
Me too. And tonight, guys, I always tell you we read the summaries from Westeros.org. Well, tonight I could show it to you.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
So let's see. It feels good. Yeah. Sorry. So let's see who's in the chat. We got first here was Bone. If you're not first, you're last. I beat Tina Bojan for the first comment. That is not easy to do, Bone. That was at 6:42, almost an hour before. Culture Casino dropped by with a Doomacorn, most likely. Thank you, Culture. Every stream, dude. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Please check out Culture. He has 2 channels now, guys. I don't know if you know that. He has the Culture Casino channel and Culture Casino Live, I believe it's called. And we'll try to get links to that. I plan on also creating a live channel this week, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. Tina Bojan's congratulating Bone for beating her, but she also says, good evening, friends, as always. The great Machini 90, he's not just the greatest mod, he's also an artist. Who else do we got in here? Bone. Jayne Theory saying hello. Yes. The great Time Prophet saying hello. And as other people are coming in, Sunny Frank. Always love seeing Sunny Frank. Good evening, everybody. Did I miss anybody? Yeah, this is usually I gotta say, and like everybody, when you get into this now, I don't know about you, Teresa, but I know for me at least, and maybe Jayne, like when you get into this, you kind of like, okay, I want to build my channel. Mm-hmm. Like I do want to do things that are fun, but I want to build my channel. So like on all my other streams, I'm always worried about the number, how many people watched it. This is the one stream I don't give a crap. I just want to enjoy a Song of Ice and Fire. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. I kind of feel the same way about my Saturday stream too, by the way.
I love your Saturday stream.
More for me.
Yeah.
And everyone just shows up. It's great.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of my whole philosophy of the whole YouTube thing is I only do things that are fun and chill. It's meant that my channel has grown a lot slower, and I understand that. But on the other hand, I have enough stress in my real life. And while I always appreciate every view that I get on my channel, I like the chill.
Yeah, I do. I love, like, this is a group of people that come and watch this that either know their stuff, like Shane and Sonny and some others, but other people just come because they enjoy listening to, like, they don't even know the story that well, but they love listening to us dissect it, debate about it, come up with our theories. And I think that's pretty neat that people just enjoy listening to that. And hopefully we've gotten a couple people into, reading this book series that will finish. We will get the last 2 books.
We will.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's story time, old-fashioned story time.
Yeah,
Right. Gathering around the fire.
And it's perfect. It's perfect. There was something else I was going to say before we started, but if I think of it, I'll throw it out there. Stig lives on the other side of the planet, so he needs to get his beauty sleep. So we do not have the great,
King of the North.
The great King of the North. I didn't know I wanted to try to do his thing, but I can't do it. So I'm just going to say, Stig Baratheon, you are the King of the North. All right. That goes out to you guys. Okay. So let's start this bad boy. What did you guys think we have tonight? We have Dany, Bran, and Tyrion chapters. What did you guys think in general of them? I just kind of skimmed through them. I was running out of time this week, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
Oh, I'm sort of in a similar situation.
Happens.
I just skimmed through.
Well, I did not
skim. But hey, go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, please, Teresa.
Yeah. Well, as usual, the Dany ones in this is just kind of, okay, here she is. Let's move on. And not a lot going on, but the Bran, you see, remember, this is my first time reading this. Holy crowly moly. There was a lot of stuff in there that was explained really cool and really well, especially about the little boy with his green, his sight and the talk with the Meisters coming up. So I really liked the Bran chapter. Tyrion is Tyrion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of his best chapters are in this book, though. Tyrion is at his best in A Clash of Kings, and I won't go into that too far, but man, I really do enjoy these chapters. So we're going to start off with Bran. Real quick, we're going to look at the chat again. Or I'm sorry, with Dany. Yes, you are right. Let the King of the North rest. Okay, Machini. At Sporky News Podcast. I also live on the other side, the good side. I was going to say something, but I don't want to get back into politics. I'm done with it. He ain't the King of the North. He is a White Walker. That's true. He is from Norway or something like that. 139 this side of the Atlantic. Wow, where are you exactly? 139, man.
139. That should be, let me see, 139. That's France, Oslo,
Scotland,
Germany,
stuff like that. Or
no, Scotland is it's an hour ahead.
Oh, okay.
That's 1240. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's what the time profit is. So you are absolutely right. Oh yeah, Joachim told us Sweden, and look who shows up. Darren, like my father before me. I haven't seen I don't think you were here last week, so good to see you, buddy. But we're going to start with Dany now that we have given people time to roll in, and you can read, and I will slowly scroll so people can try to stay alone with us.
Okay, here we go. There is a large celebration for their arrival at Qarth. Apparent as Dany's Khalasar approaches the city, and a column of camelry rides from the city to provide her an honor guard. The warlock Pael Pre told Daenerys that Qarth is the greatest city, a crossroads and ancient. Upon seeing the city, Daenerys has to admit the city is magnificent. It has 3 thick walls, the first is 30 feet high and made of red sandstone carved with animals, the second 40 feet high and made of granite carved with scenes of war, and the third 50 feet high made of black marble carved with scenes of sex. Scenes of sex. Qartheen lined the streets and balconies to watch them pass. Black Drogon on her shoulder. The women are in gowns that bare one breast, and the men wear beaded silk shirts while the children wear only sandals and paint. Daenerys thinks how the Dothraki call these people milkmen for their skin, and how Khal Drogo dreamed sacking the great city. The merchant prince Xaro Daxos rides up on his camel, which the Dothraki horses shy away from. He tells Daenerys that if she desires anything she sees, it is hers. Pyat Pri sings from her other side, Karth itself is hers, she has no need of baubles, and she should come to the house of the Undying to drink wisdom and truth. Daenerys tells them both that she only wants the Red Keep in King's Landing, and if they want to give her gifts, to give her ships and swords. Pyat states that it will be as she commands, and the other compliments her on her wisdom. Xaro, I can't say his name, Daxos, warns her that warlocks are not to be trusted. The two continue to bicker until Sir Jorah Mormont mutters in the common tongue, the crow calls the raven black, that she should avoid both men, and that it would be best to not linger here. Daenerys, however, wants their help in winning her throne. Daenerys expected something grand when Xaro Daxos offered the hospitality of his home, but not a palace larger than a market town, with an entire wing given over to her. He tells her that there will be a feast the next day with delicacies and music, and the 13 will come to do her honor. Xaro Daxos and Pyat depart, the last of the three seekers. The Shadowbinder Quaithe gives Daenerys a warning to beware of everyone, for they all lust for the power of her dragons, and then departs. After Quaithe leaves, Sir Jorah states she is right, but he also does not trust her. Daenerys admits that she does not understand quite. I can't say it. While the others shower her in promises, she has only cryptic words. It also concerns her that she has not seen her face. Then Daenerys declares that they will keep their own watch and will keep a sharp eye on the dragons. After Aggo confirms it will be done. Sugar. Just a second. It moved on me. It will be done. She tells Rakharo to use good men and women to explore the rest of the carts, since they have only seen the parts that the seekers wanted them to see. She then asks Ser Jorah to go to the docks to get news of the Seven Kingdoms and maybe find a ship to carry them home. Ser Jorah tells her the usurper will kill her and wants to stay with her, but she tells him that Drogo can guard her, and he has the languages and more experience with the seas. After they leave, her handmaidens strip her of her travel-stained silks, and she bathes in a marble pool with golden fish. She wonders if the Red Keep has a pool like this with fragrant gardens, remembering Viserys saying that the Seven Kingdoms are the most beautiful place in the world. She also thinks she no longer has Drogo's Khalasar behind her, only her 4 fierce blood riders, and that the Dothraki plundered but do not know how to govern. She ponders Ser Jorah's words. The usurper will kill you. She then thinks about Robert Baratheon, strong as a bull, fearless in battle and loving war, who killed her brother Rhaegar Targaryen and his dogs, Eddard Stark, Tywin Lannister, and Jaime Lannister. How will she overthrow them? Even her dragons might not be enough. Viserys, who was a fool, believed the realm would rise for their rightful king. She then decides that the bleeding star has led her to Karth for a purpose, and if the gods intend her to conquer, they will send a sign. Near evenfall, Irri brings word that Ser Jorah has returned. He enters the captain of the Cinnamon Wind, out of Tall Tree's town. Daenerys has her dragons all around her. He has the news that Robert Baratheon is dead, reported in Old Town, Dorne, and Lys. There are tales that the queen, his brother, Stannis Baratheon or Renly Baratheon or Eddard Stark, betrayed him. Joffrey Baratheon sits on the throne with House Lannister ruling. Robert's brothers have fled, and the hand of the king has been seized for treason. Jorah does not think it likely that Eddard is a traitor, saying the long summer will come again before he besmirches his honor. Daenerys wonders if her brother would have been wiser had he known that vengeance was so close at hand. When asked, the captain replies he is not returning to Westeros for a year or more, since his ship will set sail from Qarth, making the trader circle around the Jade Sea. When Daenerys states he has brought her a precious gift, he tells her that he has been amply repaid by being allowed to see dragons. She asks him to come to her one day in King's Landing. After the trader leaves, Ser Jorah warns Daenerys of speaking so freely. Daenerys replies that the Seven Kingdoms are flying to pieces like the Khalistar did after Khal Drogo died. Ser Jorah tells her that she will still need gold, armies, and ships. Daenerys responds that she knows this, but she is the blood of the dragon. Jorah goes on to say that King Robert killed a dragon with a war hammer. To this, she replies that dragons die, but so do dragon slayers. Dun, dun, dun.
Nice. Thank you very much. So we're in Qarth. We're in Qarth.
Yay.
Things are going on. Before we jump into that, I just want to say hi to Shane Nolan. No notification. Yes, F YouTube too. Yeah. Shane, everybody, it really helps if you hit like when the stream is over, come back and make a comment, but make sure you let people know to make sure they're subscribed to their favorite content creators, because even though you were subscribed today, you might not be tomorrow. And YouTube took what I figured out in the last couple of days. They've taken hundreds of people that watch this channel in the last 6 months, has taken hundreds of them. So please, if you know somebody that you haven't seen here in a while, message them and let them know, because I miss, it sucks that they do that. I don't understand it. But thank you for coming, buddy. So back to Qarth. What do you think, Jayne?
I mean, one of the things that sort of stood out to me here was Dany's perspective on things. It's easy to forget that these are children. But before she gets the news about what's happening in Westeros, she still sort of imagines it as, the story she was told about it being beautiful. And
Right.
I'm sure she's imagining that they're going to, welcome her the way her brother used to talk about that happening. And that news just sort of provides some insight into the political war that's happening. But even that, she seems to have an almost childish perspective on what that means for her as a conqueror.
Right. Okay. I agree with you on that. She, in these beginning books, you see that Dany was never thought to think about learning about the politics and the different, she just listened to the stories her brother told her. And you do see her grow, but this is one of the first books where it's her without Drogon, without Viserys, without anybody. She's in the lead, and you're absolutely right. Like, she's still very naive at it. And you can see that with Jorah saying, let's get the hell out of here. Right. And she's like, I want to stay.
But she's waiting on signs from the gods too. It's like,
right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Child.
And, you meet some real great characters, Teresa. You meet Quaithe, you meet Pirate Preet. I always screw up his name. Zohan Sohadakos. You did pretty good on his name, because I always screw his name up too. These are characters that Dany's never probably seen people like this before. Do you think she is too open, or is she at all cautious? What do you think is going on?
I think that she's already seeing herself as a queen. It's her destination. You saw that in the way that she said to the guy, I'll see you again in King's Landing. And so, yeah, and she had this big old palace. And by the way, the best bathtub ever. Oh my gosh, I want that bathtub. So it just reminded me that, yeah, things have kind of sucked for her, but she is used to being a little princess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, her brother, even though he treated her, I mean, it was an abusive relationship, but he also did protect her, did take care of her, did shield her as much as he could. But this has been a girl who has been on the run and moving from, not just house to house, but country to country for half her life. And when she finds, it seems like when she finds a nice place, it's almost like, again, I don't think it's brought up in this chapter, but she thinks back on the house with the red door and wanting to find a place to call her own, even though she feels like you're starting to get that little bit of her feeling like it's her. I don't think she's there yet, Jayne. I don't know if you agree. Like later on in the books, and I don't care, this isn't really a spoiler, she feels like the Iron Throne's her destiny. Right. Yeah. Right now, do you think it's as much of that or is it a little like she just wants to take because she is the last Targaryen, it's almost she has to do it,
I think it's partly perhaps out of obligation, loyalty. I think she feels it is her birthright at this point. She wants to avenge her family. She's probably upset about what they've had to experience and definitely wants to punish those responsible.
Yes.
But you do see a little bit, like you said, that naivete where, she's acting like she's going to be queen. And, she has to remember she has to get there. And you're still going to have to fight for it, regardless of, whatever's happening over there in the infighting. You're still an outsider.
Right.
To the people there.
Right.
And you're going to have to be prepared to fight potentially all of them.
Right. I mean, that's absolutely right. No matter, how long, her ancestor Aegon created the Seven Kingdoms and they reigned for 300 plus years, but yet she has never stepped foot. She was born on Dragonstone, so she never stepped foot on mainland Westeros. She is an outsider with a Khalasar. And then Jorah, Jorah, not yet. He does get a little clingy. Right now, he's trying to drop, keep her in reality. The usurper will kill you, and he will kill you. You can't just walk in. You just can't walk in. Your dragons aren't big enough, and she thinks back to, his dogs, Eddard Stark, Tywin Lannister, and Jaime Lannister. It's funny how she views these people because, it's only from stories she's heard. Eddard Stark is a dog. He did anything that the king told him to do. Yeah. There's some that believe that he did a lot more to help the Targaryen. Well, anyways, what do you guys think about right now, she's not at that place where she is asking different people. She has one person really, and that's Jorah. He can control the narrative on her. I don't know. I feel like she is still waiting for somebody else to tell her what to do.
Yeah. At the end of the day, she's still a child.
Yeah.
I mean,
what is she, 13?
They brought
15?
that up. 15. They brought that up in this thing. It's like she's seen 15 name days, and I'm like, dang, she's a baby.
Right. Right. And she was already married off, pregnant, lost a baby. Wow. That's crazy.
Burned alive.
Right. I think she's trying to be queen and assert that. But she's not, and she's trying to be independent. But I feel like she is making decisions without really listening to her advisor. Granted, she has the one now, but she's not really listening to him.
Right.
And it may be because she is a teenager, right?
Yep.
And there is that aspect of wanting to rebel and I'm the queen and all this. And you kind of have to wonder where that's going to get her.
Right.
And how much trouble, unnecessary issues she's going to run into because of that.
Right.
That attitude.
And it is an attitude. She started coming into her own, but still not really into her own because it was Drogon who brought that side out of her. She felt freer, but now she's starting to try to find who she is while, being the leader of this Khalasar, and people think she's this, the mother of dragons, this magical being who, survived a funeral pyre and gave birth to dragons. I mean, that's a lot for a 15-year-old girl. But she still is only a 15-year-old girl. And you see it at points like in her mind. You know, they're toweling her off and stuff. And she's thinking of, Dany thought when went to the three who had sought her out in the City of Bones. The bleeding star led me to Karth for a purpose. Here I will find what I need. If I have the strength to take what is offered and the wisdom to avoid the traps and snares, if the gods mean for me to conquer, they will provide, they will send me a sign. And if not. So going back to what you said, she's waiting for now the gods, because she doesn't have Drogon. She doesn't have, you know, her brother. She's waiting for something to tell her what to do.
And the thing too is, I wonder if that opens her up to, what's what I'm looking for? Persuasion or manipulation by
that's probably better.
Forces that are manipulating people all over the story, because she's so open to it. She's looking and waiting for that.
Right.
And it makes her particularly vulnerable.
Yeah. And a naive belief in the supernatural.
Right.
It's like, girl, haven't you learned yet? The gods, well, aren't going to save you. But then again, it just occurred to me, she also got burned alive and came back alive and had dragons. So
right.
I guess if she is believing in that, she's come by it honestly.
Yeah. And you know, like that's good. Because when you started that, I actually thought about what you said. Like, her life has sucked. Like, what have the gods done for her? And was it, you know, does she consider it the gods? Like, she's the one that said, I'm going to step into this fire. You know, I believe this is, you know, it seemed like she had more control in that moment. And then once she stepped in the fire, gave birth to those dragons, you know, it kind of went away. Like, that was her one moment of shining. Like, the Dany, I think we're going to see that decisive, you know, looking at Ser Jorah and being like, dude, I got the answers. It's all right. And now we're back to this child not knowing what to do and wanting God to, you know, the gods to help her. You know, and then I love how she reacts to the deaths, you know, thinking that, you know, Lord Stark, who was King Robert's friend, he had been seized for treason. And then you get Ser Jorah, Ned Stark, a traitor. Ser Jorah snorted, not bloody likely. The long summer will come out again before that one would besmirch his precious honor. So even Ser Jorah, who hates Ned Stark, you know, can't stand him because he was going to, you know, chop his head off for being selling slaves in the North. He can't even admit that he would ever betray Robert like that. And it's not because they were friends. It was because of his honor, you know? I thought that was funny.
Jorah is a very perceptive man. He's not stupid. And it just reminds me of the whole Thomas More parallel where everyone was like, of all people, my gosh, this one. He's
right.
No.
Wasn't it Ned who exiled him?
Yes. Well, no, Ned was coming to bring the king's justice.
That's right.
He took the frig off, and his father ended up taking the black because his son, you know, dishonored their family name. He was, you know, you think about, you know, Lord Mormont is the, you know, he has a big role. He is the commander of all of the Night's Watch. He is Lord Commander, but yet he was a lord in his own right. And because of his son, he had to get the family honor back by going to the wall. So I love seeing how Mormont doesn't take responsibility and he's putting the blame on Ned. Not that he did wrong. You know, he's touched on it a little bit, but again, he's back to blaming Ned for what he did wrong.
And making fun of the idea.
Yeah. What a douche. Yeah. And the dragons, there was something else I thought I saw. You know, him warning him about Sailor's Tale.
I had a problem with her showing off the dragons too.
Yes. Thank you. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Go on with that, please.
No, that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
I remember when I was reading this, I was just like, this doesn't seem like a bright idea. Because they're
Dumb.
still babies.
Yes. Yes. Like that is the naivete, as they would say. Like you have dragons haven't been seen in over 150, 200 years, and you are letting people see them. You know, they're out in the open. I would have guards around them at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would not trust anyone. These will grow into nuclear weapons, and you have 3 of them. You can conquer the planet with them.
Mm-hmm.
And she treats it like, you know, they're her. Oh, I'm the mother of dragons. They're my babies. Take a look. You know,
like her, like a new puppy.
Yes.
New puppies.
You know, and everybody's like, you know,
new puppies.
Right. Oh my God, guys, look, I stepped into a fire. I didn't die. And these 3 rocks turned into dragons. And you want to pet it? You want to see it? You want to look at it?
Look at it.
Like, definitely childish right now.
Meanwhile, everybody's thinking, how can I steal one and not die?
Exactly. I mean, you think about that. Everyone that comes up to her has an ulterior motive, you know, and one tells, you know, don't trust the warlocks, you know, like, oh, she should trust you. She's known you for like a half a second, but okay, buddy.
Right.
Okay, buddy. Let's see. Sonny says, Lord Jorah Mormont left for the wall before Jorah sold those people into slavery. Why? Okay, you're right. I totally blanked on that. Why was that though? Just to give his son the cat like lordship? You know, because that even makes more sense. Like he went to the wall to give his son the lordship, and then his son runs away after selling slaves, and now I believe it's his sister, Jorah Mormont's sister, that runs Bear Island, which is messed up. Poor Jorah. You would have thought that the armies would have killed the dragons. Well, like full-size dragons, you're talking about her dragons right now, because like I wouldn't even have gone to a city. Like I know they were like dying in you know, the red waste, but I wouldn't want to bring my dragons anywhere. I would want to find like a cave that has a spring and just hide until they're fully grown.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's the part of her story that's never really made sense to me, because she literally could have just gone to the middle of nowhere somewhere, had all these people she's building, just, you know, funnel her food and supplies, just let them grow.
Right.
And from there, you don't need ships. You don't need armies. You don't need anything. And no one would see you coming.
Nope. I mean, look at Aegon. Aegon and his sister wives. Only once did the 3 dragons attack anybody at the same time.
Yep.
It was only one time. The rest of the time, it was 1 dragon, maybe 2. He took Harrenhal and turned it pretty much to glass, killing a whole line of very powerful conquerors. He made the North kneel without doing a thing, just landing. Yeah. You know, I mean, they are the weapon of choice. Like if I had them, dude, I would find some place and hide for like a few years and then make everyone pay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The Time Prophet wants to know, are all dragons male or non-binary? I believe there are male and female, and I want to say like certain reptiles, if need be, they can flip. What up, Jen?
Dinosaurs.
Good to see you. Yep.
They're not real either, but
Lady Mage is the she-bear. Yes, which
in the show, that's who they thought, oh God, what's his name? The tall redhead guy.
Yeah. The wildling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that in the books.
It's in the books too?
Oh, I think it's in the books. He never, okay, so you're talking about, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name?
Tormund or
Tormund. Okay. Yeah. Spoilers for, you know, Tormund. But he talks about laying with a she-bear, laying with a bear and impregnating the bear. And a lot of people take that as one of because they call themselves she-bears of Bear Island. And they're strong, they're fierce, and they think that what he really means by that is he slept with one of them and gave her a bastard. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Didn't Mormont side against Robert Baratheon in the war? Isn't that why he was sent to the wall? No, I don't believe so. I believe he went to the wall to make space for his son to be Lord. His only son, who lost his wife, remarried a high tower, and she was a gold digger. And I think,
If you didn't have the goal legitimately.
Right. Anything else before we go? Husband to bears. Yes, that's what they say. Shane, you're always on point. Yeah, they call him husband to bears. So a lot of people think that's why. I was wondering why we didn't get baby dragons if we had male and females, unless they are like pandas. So real quick history. You had Balerion, the Black Dread, and the two others. Balerion was a massive dragon. I mean, these dragons make the person on top look this big. Like the show did not do them justice.
Wow.
Right. But as the years went on and politics got involved, they created the dragon pit in King's Landing, and they didn't allow the dragons to just be free and roam. And the dragons started to slowly get smaller and smaller till they were like the size of like a horse or a dog at one point. They were all deformed. And a lot of people, well, me personally, I believe it was after the Dance of the Dragons, where pretty much it was, Targaryen versus Targaryen killed a lot of the dragons. The magic that was their family kind of started leaving them because they weren't worthy for it. You got a lot of crappy rulers that weren't doing the right thing, and they were, boxing these dragons up into small areas, and like certain other animals, like certain fish, they grow bigger depending on how big of an area they're in.
That's what I was thinking. It's just that what they should have done was just bred them on Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Just leave them there and let them grow, and then bring them to the mainland.
Right. And just let them be free. That's, Dragonstone, they used to say there was dragons just wherever you looked.
But they turned them into toys.
No foresight.
Yeah.
Yep. Tina does say, according to Barth and Maester Aemon, both are Barth was a Maester, right? Dragons have no fixed gender, but are now one and now the other, as changeable as flame, which, wow, I didn't realize it was that easy.
Cool.
Vagar and Meraxes were the sisters dragons, correct? I love this chat, man. They know their shit.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know this background lore. I haven't read the Dance with Dragons or anything.
Okay. If anybody knows this, because Darren is pretty set in this, did Jorah Mormont side against Robert Baratheon? I don't remember him, because that would be siding against Ned Stark, and I just don't see him doing that. And the blood was diluted. Yeah, some people say that. Some people say because they married into the Dornish and other bloodlines. I don't know about that.
According to the Ice and Fire fandom, they swore loyalty, the Mormonts, to House Stark of Winterfell, and he fought under Lord Eddard Stark during Robert's Rebellion. A few years later, he chose to take the Black and abdicate the seat in favor of his son. So he was with the Starks.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. And then he just decided it was time for him to move aside and let his son, become Lord, which I still don't understand why he did that. I always feel like there's going to be more info about that at some point.
Yeah, that could be another book.
From what I understand, that was common for them to do when they got older, to step aside and do that in the North.
But to take the Black, though? Well, yeah, you're right. It is Northern culture, and that's kind of a different thing.
In the winter, older members of Northern houses would just say they were going I forget what term they used, but they would literally, like a dog, go walk into the storm in the snow and just die so that there was enough food for the younger generations.
Hardcore.
They are hardcore, the North. Yep.
And that's why what Jorah ended up doing, that's what makes him such a douchebag.
Yeah. Yes. What a douchebag. Darren, don't say you're sorry. That was awesome. You got us to like look it up. So please never apologize for stuff like that. Only apologize if you A, steal my food, B, talk bad about my family, or C, laugh at me in the gym, in the locker room. What up, runner? All right, let's anything else about the Dany chapter that you guys, we kind of went off on a different tangent, but
no. I mean,
the only
I guess I stand corrected because I was like, well, nothing really happened, and then I'm like, oh.
One thing go ahead, please, Jane.
I was just gonna say, thinking about the dragons and the relationship between the Targaryens and the dragons, I wonder if part of it, I think, was their, sort of keeping the dragons contained, but perhaps also part of it was that the Targaryens themselves became less wild. They became contained in this very different civilization that they weren't originally from, and boxing themselves in. In a way, you could look at the marriage to the other families as being part of it, but just society, I think it started to just crush them.
I think that has a part to it too. I also just think like you look back at Aegon and Jaehaerys and Maegor, they might not have been perfect, but they were worthy. And I feel like you start going, down the line and you get less and less worthy kings that bow down. They don't act like dragons. So because they don't act like dragons, the dragons don't respond in the way they should. Because I really truly believe there's like a telekinetic bond between a dragon rider and the dragon. And if that person wants them to grow and be strong, they're going to grow and be strong. If they're weak and inside themselves, they'll, that dragon will be weak. So
the dragon reflects them and their emotions and strengths and weaknesses, kind of like the direwolves with the Starks.
Yeah. And Shane puts up a good one. Or they got soft from victory fatigue because they always won, and truthfully, George just needed to not have them have that much power. Tina just wants to put it out there and get it over with. The Wiki of Ice and Fire says Jorah also fought in the Greyjoys rebellion in 289 AC, earning fame in the Siege of Pike and knighthood from King Robert the First Baratheon, which is not a big thing in the North. So he's actually a knight, which most Northern lords are not.
Well, maybe he was one of those people, kind of like Sansa, that growing up just admired the South more and wanted to be more part of that and that lifestyle and that culture.
I think it was his wife. Well, you're right, because I think that was before. I forget when he married the Hightower girl. Because once he married her, that I completely agree. Like, she was from the South. She was, from a rich family, and he wanted to embody that, which he couldn't keep up with.
Yeah.
Real quick, one of the last paragraphs, this is where you can see Dany's a little bit, at times, she is definitely wiser than her age. After talking to Jorah, she says, all this I know. She took his hand in hers and looked up into his dark, suspicious eyes. Sometimes he thinks of me as a child he must protect, and sometimes as a woman he would like to bed. But does he ever truly see me as his queen? Like, I think that's a very, very intelligent thought for her.
It is. It's
perceptive.
Also, it makes him creepier to me.
Yeah.
Dirty old man.
How can you flip between those?
Yeah. I mean, like, oh, I want to take care of you like my daughter, and then I want to bang you. Like, what? He has this weird thing with her. Like, he wants to protect her like a child, but he also sees that she's this beautiful woman that reminds him of the Hightower wife. The Hightower wife. So like, but for her to be perceptive enough, not just to realize he sees her as those two things, but to think, but does he respect me as a queen, or is he just doing this out of, obligation to protect me, or out of lust because he wants me? So I thought that was kind of interesting.
And it's important too, because that will influence her acceptance of his advice, knowing where it's coming from. Is he advising her as a queen, or is he being overly protective and advising her as a girlfriend or a daughter?
Right. And not to, again, spoil, but we see that later on. You know, right now it's kind of, you don't question it as much. You could tell he cares deeply about her. But he's also like, I think he's bald and he looks like kind of like me. He's bald. He has a hairier back than I do and probably has hairier of a chest. You know, like he is not, look, I'm a great guy, but I am not like a Danny Ketch. Let's just say that, you know, like, but yet he thinks he has a chance. So like, she should question that, because what happens if he doesn't respect her as a queen? Will he get jealous and turn on her when she doesn't, you know, return that attention back to him? So that's a very valid thing.
I think so. And also along those lines, you know, if you're advising a queen, you're going to be giving her advice that could potentially endanger her. You have to be willing to do that because she's going to go into battle at some point.
Definitely being a Targaryen, right?
Yeah, if that's the decision she has to make, you have to be willing and able to advise her to do that, knowing you could lose her.
Right.
And it's much more difficult to do if you're in love.
Right. Never let love get
yeah, I'm not Time Prophet. I am not Stephen Walton. You will never see me shirt off roll unless I get jacked, and then again, you still won't see shirt off roll on YouTube.
TikTok. Oh no, not TikTok. What is it you're on now?
I'm not even really on that anymore. Clapper. I'm like almost at 10,000 followers, and like they started deleting after somebody lost an election and somebody else is now in charge. They all of a sudden don't want you talking about certain things. I see Jorah as tragic and lonely. Yes, and but yet also could be dangerous. And if I'm reading it like in this moment, I when I first read it, I thought he's going to betray her.
Well, that was his initial plan, right?
Well,
so
yeah,
we spy or whatever.
Right? Did we find that out yet?
I don't know.
No, we haven't.
Remember.
Because he's
sorry.
He's still there.
That's okay. We've all seen the show. I mean,
right. Well, even if you haven't, it's going to come up sooner. And I believe it's in this book, or if it's at the beginning of the next book. You know, that's how he started. He came into Viserys' court. You know, but you know, you could tell that when it came to Dany and she started growing into a woman and taking charge, that he would never screw her over. He would just screw her. Okay. Let us jump into the next one, and that will be Bran 4 and the great Jayne Theory, and 25 different ads pop up. I love this. I really do love a wiki of Ice and Fire, but I guess they got to get paid. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Mira, armed with a 3-pronged frog spear and a net, is facing Summer in the God's Wood. Summer charges past the spear, but is entangled in the net as he slams into her. Bran tells her that she loses, but Jojen, whom Old Nan calls Little Grandfather because he's so somber, points out that Summer is entangled in the net. After disentangling the wolf and Bran calling to him, she asks if Summer ever grows angry. Bran tells her not with him, and he's never drawn blood. Mira's still worried, though, but Bran assures her that he would not have drawn her blood. He knows and likes her. Bran thinks about how Mira is so like his sister Arya, and tells them that he wishes they were their wards instead of Big Walder and Little Walder. They've stayed after all the others have gone and have become his constant companions. Bran tells Mira he's never heard of anyone fighting with the net and asks if their master at arms taught her. She tells him her father taught her, and they have no knights or ravens at Greywater Watch. She tells him her father... Oh, dang it. The island moves so neither ravens nor enemies can find it. Interesting point. When Bran asks if he would be welcome at Greywater Watch after the hostilities end, they assure him that their Lord Father would welcome him any time, and that leaving Winterfell sooner rather than later would be good for him. It's revealed that the bastard of Bolton has forcibly taken Lady Hornwood as his wife after the Harvest Feast, that Lord Manderley took her castle to protect it, and Sir Roderick has gone east to settle the uprising and see that justice is done. Bran could ask Sir Roderick about visiting the Reeds when he returns. Mira reveals that Jojen has the green sight. He has dreams of things that have not happened but sometimes do. Jojen corrects this by saying they always do. Bran asks her about the dreams and is told that Jojen will, but only if Bran tells them about his own dreams. Bran denies he has dreams, saying that Maester Luwin gives him sleeping draughts, which he admits help only sometimes. Mira tells him that everyone in the castle hears him scream when he sleeps. Bran does not tell, but is interested in what dreams Jojen has had. Jojen thinks that Bran is the winged wolf, bound to earth by chains. He also states that a crow is trying to peck through the chains, but his beak can only chip them. When asked if the crow has 3 eyes, Jojen nods. The crow first came to Jojen when he almost died of greywater fever, and to Bran after he fell. It told him he had to fly, but when Bran woke, he was broken and couldn't fly. After hearing this, Jojen is sure that Bran is the winged wolf, and they tell Bran that the three-eyed crow is not in Greywater Watch, but north, beyond the wall. When their father heard Jojen's dream, he sent them to Winterfell. When Bran asks how he will break the chains, he's told to open his eye, not the 2 that are open, but the 3rd one. When he opens his 3rd eye, he will be able to see south to the summer sea and north beyond the wall. Bran decides that he's tired of talking of crows and wants to talk about something else, and then asks about lizard lions. However, Jojen keeps asking Bran about his dream, whether he has dreamed that he was Summer, and then reveals that when he touches Summer the night of the harvest feast, he felt Bran in Summer, and then he felt Bran fall. He then asks if falling scares Bran. Bran thinks of the Golden Man and that he scares him. He has not been able to tell Sir Roderick or Maester Luwin, so cannot tell the Reeds either. Jojen continues by asking if he falls every night, and there is a low rumbling growl from Summer. Mira puts herself between Summer and her brother and asks Bran to keep the wolf back. Bran claims that Jojen is making Summer angry, but Mira responds that it's him that Jojen is making angry. His fear. She tells Bran that he and Summer are part of each other. Shaggy Dog arrives. The direwolf lunges, and Mira tells Bran to call them off, but he does not know how. And Jojen tells Bran that Summer is reacting to his anger. Mira tells her brother to climb the tree. Jojen responds that it's not his day to die, but complies, and Mira follows. Bran has been unable to call off the wolves, but remembers he's not alone and calls to Hodor. When Hodor appears, Bran tells him to chase the wolves away, which he gleefully does. When Jojen returns to the ground, he never takes his eyes off Summer as he tells Bran that they will talk again. Bran only thinks that it was the wolves, not him, and tells Hodor to bring him to Maester Luwin. When he's with Maester Luwin, he tells him that Mira said her brother has the green sight. Luwin explains that their wise men call such people greenseers. He then tells Bran that nobody truly knows what it is, but that the first men thought the greenseers could see through the eyes of the weirwood, which is why the men cut down the trees, and that they have control over animals and fish. When asked, Bran tells the Maester that Jojen only claims to have dreams that sometimes come true. The Maester tells Bran that everyone has dreams that come true, like when he and Rickon dreamed their father was in the crypts before they knew he was dead. He then asks Bran whether he remembers the meaning of the metals of a maester's chain: black iron for ravenry, silver healing, gold psalms. Luwin pulls his chain around his neck to reveal a link made of Valyrian steel, and tells Bran that it signifies the study of the higher mysteries, magic. This is a study of small use that few maesters trouble with. He goes on to say that magic may have once been a mighty force, but no longer. Valyria was its last ember, and dragons, the children, and giants are no more. Jojen does not have the green sight, since no living man has that power. Bran tells Mira what the Maester said when she comes to him at dusk, and that Summer should not have tried to hurt Jojen, but Jojen should not have made the comments about his dreams. The crow lied, and so did Jojen that Bran could fly. Mira suggests that the Maester may be wrong, but Bran replies that he's not, and that his father depended on him. She leaves him with another of Jojen's dreams, that one day soon Maester Luwin will serve him a king's cut off the roast at a great feast. But the portion he gives the Walders will be gray and dead, yet they will like their meal better than he. That night, Bran is almost afraid to sit at supper, but everyone is served the same, and there's nothing wrong with the food served the Walders. Bran is relieved. Nothing bad is coming to Winterfell, but he's disappointed also. So long as there's magic, anything can happen. He will never walk, fly, or be a knight.
Bum, bum, bum. All right. Lot going on in that one, ladies. What do you think there, Teresa?
Oh, I just thought it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed this one, especially the discussion that Bran had with the Meister and the explanations that he had about the different kinds of wisdom and how he explained about the magic.
Right. Before I talk, what do you think there, Jayne?
Yeah, I found that conversation interesting, but too just how Mira was probing Bran. Like they're trying to get information and answers, and also trying to deliver to him the truth without scaring him away. And now it's like they're competing against Luwin, who's trying to keep him in the dark.
Oh, I like how you put that. Keep him in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think that Luwin knows about it?
I think so. I suspect so.
So I do have a feeling about that myself. Maester Luwin never, he talks about the history. There used to be children. There used to be this. There used to be that, but no more, Bran, no more. But yet he studied the higher mystical magic. He has the Valyrian chain. Not a lot of maesters did that. So it's a small, I would think the ones that have studied it, it's a very small community. One of which we learn about in a Sam chapter in a couple books. I believe they're all connected. The ones that have studied the higher magic. I don't think he wants it to be real, and he doesn't want it to affect Bran, but I do believe he believes in Greensight. He believes in this stuff. He just doesn't want Bran to focus on it too much. Like he's a kid that why would he be a Greenseer? It's Bran Stark. You know what I mean? Like if it was somebody else
for them,
maybe. Yeah, that too. Like it's either one of those two things. Either he's like, wait a minute, I believe it's real, but not Bran, or, oh my God, I don't want this to happen to him. I'm going to try to keep him in the dark. I don't know.
But here's the thing. He's trying to minimize the significance of this. Like, very few people. Not like it's difficult or challenging.
Right.
But it's more like, most people don't worry with this sort of thing because it doesn't exist anymore. But I did it. Okay, so my question would be, well, why did you waste your time then? I mean, if it's so insignificant and it doesn't really matter and magic doesn't exist, then why would you go through that trouble? Doesn't add up.
I agree. Why would you study something that wastes your time when you don't even need it to be a maester? Like that, and anybody else, a lot of the others that have that chain, or that may have studied and didn't finish, hint, like they believe in the mystic arts, and let's not forget, he came from the Riverlands. Okay. And I know he's with the Starks, but he's really a Tully maester. So I always wonder, he didn't look out for Ned first. He looked out for the children and the mother first.
Right.
And I always wonder if he's, kid gloves trying to protect these kids from what he might believe will not happen in their lifetime. Like no way the long night's going to happen again.
Right.
That
could be.
Right.
It could be that he's keeping them in the dark, but not maliciously.
Right. We have a super chat from the great According to Christy, who hasn't been jumping on because she thinks we're way too advanced or something. I don't know. But she was on a great stream the other night. Go to, was it Nina who ran the Rogue one? Saturday night Rogue Entertainment stream, and just see Christy. Oh my God. She was in Fuego that night. She was feeling it. Thank you for the poop emoji. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. And I like how you pointed out, like it's almost like the Reeds and Maester Lewin are kind of like working to see who can win Bran's not just trust, but belief in what they're saying.
Faith. Yeah.
Yep.
And the dogs, the wolves, that interaction too is really cool.
Yes. Jen, I kind of believe there's a Maester conspiracy. I don't know if it's still going on, but there, look at the history books. They definitely did not want the Targaryens in charge of Westeros. And then they definitely wanted a lot of different lords from around the kingdom marrying their kids to different lords or different kingdoms' kids and fostering them in different places. So there's definitely, I truly believe I buy into the Maester conspiracy.
Yeah. The Targaryens really did not do a good job of shoring up their political power, in my opinion.
Right. No. Well, they used to not have to because they had dragons.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look at Egg. Egg did a lot of good things for the, the common man, the common folk, but yet the lords hated him so much that he felt like he needed to hatch eggs, and Summerhall happened. They didn't know what to do. And before him, you had people like Bloodraven that people were deathly afraid of because, he was a sorcerer. He was, he has one eye in 1,000 or however they say that statement. But after him, they started coming after them. They weren't untouchable, let's just say. More than one thing, it turns into easy subject when it just looks okay. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
What do you have to say there, Teresa? Anything good?
Well, the thing about the meat that's being served in the dream.
Oh, yes. Good one.
Oh, yeah.
The raw meat and the dead meat, right?
Yep. I found that interesting.
I'm not sure what the raw meat means for Bran, or is it raw, or is it like bloody? Or I forget what it was.
Let me find it.
Yeah. But the boys' ones is like all dead and gray and lifeless.
A king's cut.
Yeah. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find
it. Made me want to have steak, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Like I want a nice juicy steak.
Or roast. I wonder, is there a cookbook that goes with this story? I'm sure there is.
I'm sure
there is
something.
There is. There's there's a Game of Thrones cookbook that does really cool, like old school type, like parsnips and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Googling. No.
Right.
I have the Skyrim one, and it's similar.
I have the Walking Dead one. It's amazing.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
What? Hot garbage and a rat. It's served. No! I do like what is said here. I think it's Jojen that might say it to him. They're talking about Maester Lewin again, and he says, "Your father listened, I have no doubt, but in the end, he decided for himself. Bran, will you let me tell you about a dream Jojen dreamed of you and your fosterling brothers?" So he's talking about the two twin or the Reed boy or Frey boys and himself. The Walders aren't my brothers. She paid that no heed. You were sitting at supper, but instead of a servant, Maester Lewin brought you your food. He served you the king's cut off the roast. So that's the best piece. Meat rare and bloody, but with a savory smell that made everyone's mouth water. The meat he served the Frey was old and gray and dead. Yet they liked their supper better than you liked yours. I don't understand. You will, my brother says. When you do, we'll talk again. So what are they trying to say there? Now I'm thinking the old and gray and dead pertain to a supper in a next book, most likely, that the Freys really enjoyed. And maybe the king cut for Bran, because is that George setting up the end of the book? Like, is that something?
Has the best story?
Oh, please don't do that to me.
I know. I'm sorry. Could be. Actually, I have a theory, but I think it's happening in a later chapter. Because if I'm correct, are the foster boys? They weren't in the show, but they were. Okay. Yeah. So that might be a bit of a spoiler.
Oh no! I mean, if it's in this book, you're all right.
Because if they end up being.
Oh yeah, somebody else's. Yep. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Well, maybe write it and I'll let you know. They're jerks, big and little Walder Frey. Okay.
But why would they enjoy the crappy meat rather than, because
something that happens at the twins, maybe at a supper.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't think it pertains to these two kids, but it could too, because. So I think the rare and bloody one in the king's cut for Bran means it's not just for, and it smells really good. It's not just for, like, rare and bloody is because he's the wolf. King's cut, I mean, he is a prince right now. We'll just say that. Yeah. But the phrase enjoy dead, gray, and old, they enjoy that. And there are stuff that happens with the Frey kids, with the Freys in general, down the line that kind of go with that.
Oh, reminded me of their dad or grandfather. I forget which one he is. He's really, really old.
Probably both. Who knows?
Right? Yeah, no. Yeah. Walder Frey is like 90, 96 or 7 somewhere. Yeah, he's up there. King cut has a meaning. I believe that too, Shane. Cookbook, yes, Shane says. Jen, isn't that when Bran and Rickon get killed? That is in this book, so we can kind of talk about that.
Well, remember, if Jojen's dreams come true,
right,
then they wouldn't reflect something that's not true, right?
Right. And the meat, it's not like it's a bloody, rare, really good smelling meat that actually isn't. And it would be like, theirs would be like overdone, charred, burned. This is saying old, gray, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's Walder Frey. He's that piece of meat,
but not in the good sense of the
word. Shane says, Jen, no, I believe it's bad news of casualties from the war, but Walders are happy because they rise in the succession. Right. People in their family dying, maybe. I get that. I have turned down the resolution on YouTube, and now it is like watching you on your old computer. Bring back memories. You son of a bitch. Man, the Walders, everybody keeps putting Welders, which I love, are awful. They are. Those two kids are awful.
Terrible.
Oh,
their family is sick.
Yep. I do like how, she says, I kind of went to it. You will, my brother says, when you do, we'll talk again. Bran was almost afraid to sit to supper that night, but when he did, it was pigeon pie they set before him. Everyone else was served the same, and he couldn't see that anything was wrong with the food they served the Walders. Maester Lewin has the truth of it. he told himself. Nothing bad was coming to Winterfell, no matter what Jojen said. Bran was relieved, but disappointed too. So long as there was magic, anything could happen. Ghosts can walk, trees could talk, and broken boys could grow up to be knights. But there isn't, he said out loud in the darkness of his bed. There's no magic, and the stories are just stories. And he would never walk, nor fly, nor be a knight. So I like how he wants to walk again, but for the most part, he really wants Maester Luwin to be right. So all this bad stuff and magical Jojen and him being part of Summer, because he really fights that idea that he's part of Summer. Like, no, I wasn't, I had nothing to do with that. And they're like, no, he senses your feelings. He senses you are, upset.
Right.
He's really fighting. DJ Odyssey. Oh man, good to see you, brother. Anybody, if you are not subscribed to DJ Odyssey, you want to know, DJ knows Star Trek. He knows, I want to say you do also a lot of, well, you used to at least, Doctor Who, but definitely Star Trek. Met him in the chats of Nerdrotic, and he's a really good dude. So please make sure you guys subscribe to DJ Odyssey. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else on this one?
Well, I mean, I think too, I like the interesting position that Bran is in, where if he does believe, there's a cost benefit, a benefit and a loss. If he doesn't believe, same thing. It's you potentially, you could walk if magic is real, but you could also lose everything.
Right.
If it isn't real, you keep, you keep your Winterfell, you perhaps get your family, what's left of them back. But at the same time, you'll never walk again. You'll never be a knight. You'll never be, important in that way.
Right.
So
I found that. Oh, sorry. I found that really, really a sad ending to the chapter.
Yeah.
Because that's all he really wanted, the little baby boy.
All he ever wanted to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what is he, 9? I think he's 9. All he ever wanted to do was be a knight. That's it. He didn't care about being, Lord Stark or a Lord of a Holdfast. He just wanted to be a knight, and someone took that from him. This is one of those quick chapters, but there's like a lot of information about, I like how they talk about Grey Watch, how ravens can't fly there.
Oh yeah. It
no
moves.
More than our enemies, because it moves. It's in a bog. Okay. Did they create a floating castle, or is this their magic? Because don't forget, they are small, thin, nature beings, the Reeds. They look a lot like children of the forest. Wouldn't doubt if somewhere in their bloodline there was children of the forest in it. What do you think of them, like, talking about gray water? Anything stick out to you guys other than that?
I wish we could see it.
Yeah, that part went right over my head, I guess.
Hold on, let me see what
because it should be like, you think of it as a swamp.
Yep.
But it's clearly magical.
What are you saying? See what? See the
actual their home.
Okay. I wonder if there's any gray water. Oops.
Yeah, well, everything about it is incredibly mysterious.
Yeah, let's see. Pics.
Because I always kind of joked about them being the Louisianans in the story.
Let me remove this for a second, and then I could have just done it on that page. That was dumb. All right, here we go. So this is some renditions. Now, granted, I don't know if any of this George had. Like, that one's definitely a fan. But I always found these kind of interesting. Like, but if it moves, it cannot have like a setup like this. Like, it has to be on like almost an island.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think this is probably in Deep Geek Picture. So I'm giving him a shout out. one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to A Song of Ice and Fire. Like, so it's something small like this, like a city almost on floats, it's swamp and bogs. I don't know. I'm going to read a little bit more of that though. Hold on one second. Let's see. How would I break the chains? Summer on his feet. All right. So yeah, they talk about, I kind of find it interesting that, Bran's talking about being scared of the crow, lying, the crow, lying, Jojen also being in a terrible place, sick, die, pretty much you're close. Something horrible is happening to you when your third eye opens up. And I feel like the crow doesn't do it gently. And I again think the crow is not Bloodraven. I'm sorry. Spoilers. I think the crow, Bloodraven, I'll do this when you guys can come back. Bloodraven is the weirwood tree in Bran's dream. When he speaks as a weirwood tree, and the three-eyed raven is something completely different or someone different, and we do not know. So I find it kind of interesting. Make sure you guys sub to DJ. He's right there. All right. Thank you, Miss Martin Muse. What do you guys think about the three-eyed crow? Anything in particular?
I still don't understand a darn thing about it.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that it seems like Bran has perhaps one purpose originally, and the crow is interfering with that.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, kind of go into that a little bit. Let me hear what you mean.
Well, it's described as if, at least in Jojen's perspective, that he's the winged wolf, right?
Yes.
And he's chained to the earth, connected to it, whatever that means. And the crow is trying to break that connection.
Right.
But he's not that, apparently isn't powerful enough to do it without Bran's participation or something.
Right.
But
yeah, real quick, because would you think, like when I first read it, I thought chained meaning, okay, he's crippled, but this is more on a mental level, like a telepathic level. So what does he really mean by that? Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was, except that the crow's definitely trying to change his path, what his path would have been anyway.
Interesting. I like that. It was a quick, but a lot of info. And definitely a good chapter to set us up with who should you trust? Maester Luwin or the Reeds? 1 for Luwin, 2 for Reeds. If you already read the books, you're already going to know who you pick. But if you were pretend you were reading this for the first time, who would you trust as a little boy? The man who was like helped raise you, or 2 strangers that seem kind of interesting to you? I don't know.
And to put it along those, to compare it to the last chapter, you have these children trying to determine who should be their advisor.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. Like it's almost like Bran, like, does Bran have to take sides? Like I don't understand why he feels the need, like I can only listen to one of them. Right. One of them is right.
Because
like
he's like 9, he doesn't know anything. I mean,
that's true.
His thought process.
That is true. All right, let's jump over to Tyrion. I think it's Tyrion 4 I wrote down. All right, so let me put that down. I'll get a sip of water. Guys, I'm actually reading this while the tab, I got 5 tabs open. This is fantastic. I love this.
Yeah, sweet. I love what I'm also reading about the Cranogs.
In the chat or just in general?
In the chat, yeah. Shane pointed out that it's like the Cranogs in Ireland.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I did not know that history. So thank you for pointing that out. Craggy Island. I guess I'm going to have to look that up because
Craggy Island, that's where Father Ted's from. The Cranogs are all over the place.
Oh, okay. My bad. All right. Here we go. So Tyrion 4. No, I'm sorry. Tyrion 7. Holy crap. Is it Tyrion 7? I guess so.
Yes, it is.
All right. Tyrion 7. Tyrion is informed by a sleepy Podrick Payne that Lancel Lannister has arrived. Tyrion is not bothered by the late hour since he usually works well into the morning reading Varys Whispers reports or going over Littlefinger's accounts. He figures, however, that Cersei was expecting Lancel late arrival would catch him less alert. Tyrion takes his time and roughens his hair to make it look like he has been woken from his sleep. Tyrion warmly greets Lancel, who has been pacing. Lancel tells him that Cersei commands that Pycelles be released, handing Tyrion her warrant. Tyrion tells Lancel he hopes she is not overtaxing herself. He would not want to see a relapse. After being assured that she is recovered, Tyrion states it is music to his ears, thinking he should have given her a larger dose. Tyrion offers Lancel mulled wine to help him sleep, and he rejects the offer, having not come to drink. Tyrion states that wine has its dangers and that he would have thought if Cersei was so concerned about Pycelles, she would have come herself. Lancel tells Tyrion just to release the prisoner with a sneer, that the queen is Joffrey's regent. Tyrion replies that he is Joffrey's hand. Lancel replies, the hand serves, the regent rules until the king is of age. And Tyrion says maybe he should write it down so he can remember, and tells Podrick to leave. After Pod leaves, Lancel states that Sir Jacelyn Bywater defied a command in the king's name, and that Cersei demands he be removed and charged with treason. Tyrion thinks that it means that Cersei has already ordered Pycelle released and Bywater rebuffed her. When Lancel threatened Tyrion, Tyrion responds that he will hear no warning from a boy. Lancel touches his sword and warns Tyrion to watch his words. Tyrion in turn warns him that at a cry from him, Shagga will break in and kill Lancel with an axe and not a wineskin. Lancel tells Tyrion tells Tyrion that he is a knight. Tyrion asks if Cersei had him knighted before or after she took him to bed. Lancel says nothing, and Tyrion can tell from his eyes that Varys was right. When Tyrion comments, Lancel demands Tyrion withdraw his filthy accusations. Before he can finish, Tyrion mentions that the result if Joffrey discovered he murdered his father to bed his mother. Lancel's courage deserted him as he insists to Tyrion that Tywin Lannister commanded Lancel to do everything that Cersei told him when he was assigned squire to King Robert I Baratheon. Tyrion asked if commanded Lancel to do, Tywin told him to F Cersei also. Nothing that Lancel looks somewhat like Jaime, but a poor copy. Lancel starts to say he only did as he was bid, to which Tyrion adds that he must have hated every instant of high place in the court, knighthood, and Cersei's opening her legs, and then threatened to go to the king. Lancel begs for mercy as Tyrion continues his threats to go to the king, whom he is duty bound to inform. When Lancel states he will end it, Tyrion tells him no, that he will stay close to Cersei, be a spy for him, and tell no one. Lancel agrees, and Tyrion orders him to drink to their understanding. Tyrion then tells Lancel that he could do well out of this, and the knighthood is nothing. Then he ordered him to tell the queen that he begs her forgiveness, and he will let her have Pycelles to do with however she will, but he will not be on the council. With respect to Sir Jacelyn Bywater, Lancel is to assure the queen that he thinks he can win him away from Tyrion. Tyrion also notes he does not want another nephew. Lancel tells him that there is no need for concern since Cersei has him spill his seed on her belly. Okay. After he leaves, Tyrion thinks it's fortunate that Lancel's father, Kevin Lannister, has two other sons, since in Tyrion's view, as Cersei will kill Lancel if she finds out he is betraying her, and even if Lancel survives the war, he will never survive Jaime's return to King's Landing. The only question being whether Jaime kills Lancel in a jealous rage or Cersei kills him to stop Jaime from finding out. Tyrion privately bets on Cersei. Tyrion cannot get to sleep, so he sends Podrick, who was asleep, to summon Bran and get 2 horses saddled. When Bran arrives, he asks, "Who pissed in your soup?" To which Tyrion answers, "Cersei." He states he should be used to the taste and that she seems to have mistaken him for Eddard Stark. Bran replies that he was tall, to which Tyrion responds, "Not after Joffrey took off his head." They leave through the postern gate, then down Shadow Black Lane to the foot of Aegon's High Hill, onto Pig Run Alley. Tyrion reflects that the men that have been hand have been no match for Cersei because they were too honest. The only way to defeat Cersei is to play her own game. In the crowded brothel, they are met by Shataya, who leads them to the common room and serves them wine, apologizing for the quality. She cannot find good wine at any price, which Tyrion understands. As Tyrion waits, Dancy slides onto his lap, saying she has a cure for him feeling unloved. He tells her that he has grown fond of Alea's remedy. When Alea, I don't know how to say that name, arrives, she leads him up the stairs and tells him that Dancy has a bet with Maria and has only a fortnight before she loses her black pearls. She leads him to the tower room, telling him that she will sleep while he is gone before he disappears down the shaft to the tunnel. As he leaves the stables on his gelding, he hears music that reminds him of the words Tysha sung to him, who was a lie, a whore Jaime had hired to make him a man. He arrives at the manse, which has been arranged by Varys as a place to sequester Shae. He told Varys he wanted her protected by ugly, scary men who did not like having sex with women. She is now protected by a Bravosian dagger man who, with a hair lip and a lazy eye, one eunuch strangler, and a pair of foul-smelling Ibanies who are fond of axes and each other. If Tyrion had her guarded by his clansmen, it would only be a matter of time before everyone knew of his concubine. He entered the room, not intending to disturb Shae, but the sight of her nude body makes him hard. He spreads her legs and starts to lick her until his, what am I reading, a romance novel? Until his beard is soaking, and then enters her and explodes almost at once. She opens her eyes and tells him she just had the sweetest dream. Tyrion thinks of the wars and intrigues in that he was made for this. Dun, dun, dun.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Woo. What do you guys think?
You can go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Lancel is no lion.
No.
He's so weak. He's so pathetic. He's so
Right.
pitiful. And yeah, the fact that he bet on Cersei killing him first was hilarious.
I love that. It's so funny because he just knows his brother and sister so well. So well. And you know, I almost forgot because like I said, I wasn't able to, I only skimmed through these this week, but I do love, I forgot he like gave her that whatever medicine that made her like, you know, have diarrhea pretty much and was sick. So that's why he's asking if Cersei has recovered. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
But I love how this Lancel, like, you know, he's a false lion. He comes with his chest puffed up, demanding things because he's sleeping with the Queen Regent, you know, and what Tyrion does best is points out what the person hasn't thought about.
Mm-hmm.
And what they haven't thought about is if Jaime lives, no matter what, he's going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You better hope Jaime doesn't live. But this had one of the best lines ever. I laughed out loud. It's rare that happens when I'm reading a book. When he said, like something, my sister loves her family. I nearly died.
Yeah. And that's funny because they, the show, like, Lena Headey is awesome actress. I love her, but they like made Cersei way more like human in that. She may in the book say stuff about her children, but really she just wants power. I think at times she can care less about her kids.
She's ruthless.
Oh God. Yeah. And I love how Tyrion knows it.
And lacks discipline. Like she wants so much to be like Tywin, and there is that aspect to her, but she doesn't have the same focus and discipline. When she gets emotional, she gets reckless.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the perfect way of putting it. Because she's, and please YouTube and people don't take this wrong, but because she's not a man, she feels the need to overcompensate and prove her worth. And the truth is she could be as ruthless as Tywin, but she can't be as reserved and, set back and like allow things to just happen. And then at the right moment, pounce and do what you need to do to take control, Yeah.
Well, and how reckless of her. Like, why is she screwing her cousin? Is it really just that she's lonely?
He looks kind of like Jaime.
Right. He looks a little bit like Jaime, and it is weird. Like that is one thing I can say is Jaime like will not be with another woman, loves her, but like Cersei just needs somebody there.
And I almost feel, I don't know if I'm remembering this right, but isn't her thing that Jaime looks like her? It's almost like it's all about her.
Well, I think that's something Jaime brings up, that she just likes seeing herself in him because they look alike.
She likes screwing herself literally.
Exactly. And if that version of herself isn't there, then here's this version of herself. It's like it's her.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. And Lancel, like her father set Lancel up to listen to her, not King Robert. And I guess, he just wanted, Lancel was treated so badly by Robert. And now he's with the Queen Regent. Her brother is a captive. Like he's feeling himself, man. And the truth of the matter is she can lose interest in a second and have him beheaded because no way he like from what I'm reading and how Tyrion said it, not looking ahead, no way she can let him live.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. He will outlive his purpose.
Yep. Thank you, DJ Odyssey. I can read romance novels as he explodes inside her.
Oh, gee. You can see now why I didn't want to read it.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I forgot about that part.
I would have skipped it. It's like, come on.
It's part of the art. Look at that little.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yep.
That's how narcissistic she is.
As an extension of herself. Yeah. Well, yeah. Wow. That's a good way of putting it. I didn't think of it like that. I mean, the children are a tool for her to get power.
Yeah. Now, I'm thinking that Tyrion's doing very well, and he even was talking about how much he enjoyed it in that last sentence. On the other hand, is he making enemies? If I recall correctly, that is on the show, and I'm assuming it follows it in the books, is he having a false sense of security in his position?
Yes, I would agree with that.
And it could be what Shane brought up down there too about his father and who he is. And yeah, his father's a badass. So it could be that's sort of that confident, what some of that confidence is coming from too. He thinks he's untouchable.
Right. Real quick, Christy, you didn't have to do that. According to Christy, becomes a Hot Pie member. And soon enough, I will have like a little video to pop up with Hot Pie, like I cooked bread or something like that. I don't know. But thank you so much, Christy. I mean, you didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. I almost knowing everything you've gone through. I wish you didn't, but you're awesome. You're welcome, jackass. Okay. You know what? I'll take your money now. Yeah.
Okay. When you mentioned hot pie, I just want warm bread.
Oh, hot pie is a great baker. Great baker. I want a pot pie. Those are delicious.
Ooh.
I like how Shane puts this, an extension of herself. And I wish I can kind of go ahead to Jaime's story a bit, but you really can't without spoiling some stuff. But she, you know, she can control Jaime. She cannot control Joffrey. And it's almost like because she can't, he's the one she loves the most.
Yeah.
Almost like her father. Can't get what she wants out of him, so she loves him the most. You know, even though she didn't love Robert in the end, she was attracted to a man who just didn't give a crap about anybody but himself. You know, like she definitely has a type, we'll say.
And it's also the part of her that's the part she can't control. You know, that Joffrey's like a part of her that's the worst part of her. Represented in the form of her child.
I do like that, Shane. I think Tyrion is doing the job too well, making him dangerous to his father.
Mm-hmm.
I think two things. I think Tyrion is on a winning streak right now. And, you know, he goes to this brothel, goes through the tunnel, goes to see Shay. I think he is not, you know, he's not looking past his blind spots, we'll say.
He should have left her alone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, and I hate because he always brings up his first love, Taisha, and she was a whore and a liar. And where do whores go? But then he trusts Shay completely. It's sad.
I almost saw that as he's always trying to get that back, and he sees Shay as a replacement for his first wife. Mm-hmm. And that's maybe why he idealizes her so much. Oh, unlike the other one, this whore really loves me.
Which is funny if you read ahead. So,
well, yeah. Well, it's like, didn't they say last week? Didn't someone say it's like a dude that believes that the stripper actually likes you?
Yeah, exactly. Shane Nolan. All I'll say to that, if it's the theory I'm thinking of, like father, like son, is that the one you're talking about? All right. What else? Was there something else? Oh, the Pycelles being locked up for like, I don't even know how much time it's been, but it's awesome. Like, you know, and I love how Tyrion like knows without someone saying it what happened. Okay, Cersei wants what was that guy's name? Bywater, you know, taken care of because he said no to her because he followed what Tyrion told him to do. You know, like he, instead of just coming out and saying this guy didn't listen to me, you know, he needs to be finished. Not, you know, she's trying to hide the anger that this guy actually listens to Tyrion and not me. But I feel like he's getting sloppy.
Yeah.
You know, if he was completely on his game, there would be no Shay, but you know,
it's his weak spot.
It's or his pleasure button as he explodes.
Yeah. And even though it was kind of graphic, I think that there was a purpose behind him finishing quickly, if you will. That
okay. What's that?
Well, a little bit similar to, he's feeling all manly and all this, but wow, look how it only takes 1 second for him to finish early. And maybe I'm reading too much into this.
No, go on.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Not in control, right?
Right. Because she is a weak spot. You know, he's so like, because Tyrion's been with a lot of women, but you could tell like this one, like he is mesmerized by her, and you know, it's almost like he can't control it. He can't hold back. You know, I mean, it's like instantaneously he gets up in there and just boom. And she just is like, I had a dream, you know, like she's definitely
playing him like a fiddle.
oh my God, she is such a weak spot for him. And he doesn't even see it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even see it.
I think even if he has ideas in the back of his mind, he's just pushing past it.
Right. Because don't forget, in earlier chapters, he kept telling himself, you know, a whore can't love you, you know, and he doesn't do that anymore. You know, he does talk about his ex, but he doesn't talk about her not loving him anymore. Like he's starting to believe what he told himself not to believe. You know, I thought that was, you could see it slowly happening.
Yep.
What a moron.
Terrible.
I swear after my 15th lap dance, she said she'd go out on a date with me. Idiots. Idiots.
Oh.
I mean, but to be fair, he also wants to be loved. He wants a normal, you know, relationship, and she's pretending that they have that.
Right. It's something he probably,
it was stolen from him.
It was, there you go. The perfect way of putting it. It was stolen from him, something that he thought would never happen to him. A normal girl falling in love with him for him. And it turned out that, you know, Jamie and his father hired her. And, I mean, the way, you know, she bangs everyone in the guard for a silver and him last for a gold. Like, how devastating must that be? You know, it must be devastating.
Well, and how effed up, you know, your family is supposed to be on your side. I mean,
oh God.
My gosh.
Right? I mean, I don't know.
And but how they treated him, that was terrible. How they treated her.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, what we do not know is, you know, the whole story. We just know what he told us. Right.
Yeah.
So she, you know, at the moment, even if she did do that, she didn't deserve what happened to her. You know, that part when you find that out is pretty rough. Pretty rough there, people. All right, let's see here. Anything else on that? Oh, shared the wrong one.
Well, I'm pointing the finger of judgment at George R.R. Martin. And I don't care what anyone says. I reserve the right to judge that man.
And why do you judge him?
I judge him every time he posts a new project.
Oh, God. Can we talk about him? Look, I'm not one of those people that gets upset when he's, you know, oh, I went out to breakfast with my wife today. And people are like, you better not get back in there and write. I get that. But he has spent so many years doing everything he probably ever wanted to. You know, he became famous. He's rich. He's been the big dog for a little bit when it came to a TV show. He's now again the big dog for another TV show. They're doing 2 or 3 other of his storylines in just A Song of Ice and Fire. I just heard one of his other stories is going to Netflix with a pretty famous director doing it. I can't remember what it is. But it's like, why look back? He already won. And I almost feel like that's how he feels. He already won. I don't know.
Well, I just want him to understand. He has gotten all of us invested in this little adventure of his. And he needs to give us an ending. Like Nina always says, we need an ending.
I'm with you guys on that. I need an ending too. That's all I want. Just an ending. I'll be fine with that. Give me the last 2 books. You know, you don't have to, I want him to, but you don't have to finish Dunk and Egg, but just finish this storyline, please.
I would even be cool with the summer. You can just sit down and tell me what happened. You don't have to write it down.
Right. Well, let's finish Winds of Winter, but Dream of Spring. Chat. Yeah. Dream of Spring. Do it like a fireside chat and just tell us what happens.
Yeah. Cause he's just, No, he's not. Well, okay. Sorry, I got distracted by the comment here.
I saw that.
But here's the thing. Tolkien took even more than 10 years to write Lord of the Rings. However, when it wasn't published until it was done. It came out like in 1952. So it's not like he started and said, "Here, kids, it's 1938. Ha ha, ha ha. Maybe I'll finish the next book, but oh look over there's a squirrel."
I'm going to sell. Wait a minute. I'm sending this telegram. It's going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Going to do 2 more chapters today. Like, so what you're saying is Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, he did it all at once? Or
yeah, it was done. I mean, maybe there was a few revisions, but when it came out, I mean, so sometimes, and I'm not getting completely annoyed with you, Time Prophet. Not with you.
Yeah, he's just busting
in
balls.
general. When people try to say, "Well, look how long he took," it's like, yes, but he didn't even friggin' publish it till it was done, because you can't count The Hobbit, because the Hobbit took long. Well, yeah, of course he was working with it. I mean, he started it when he was like a friggin' kid, practically. Tolkien did, but the actual work, he didn't make a promise. I promise, Master Frodo. I promise.
Right. Well, no. What bothers me is, again, and I got into it a lot later, but he made it obvious he was just going to do a trilogy, and he put out 2 books. One in 96, one in 98, boom, boom. And then it changed. I'm not doing the trilogy anymore. Okay. Well, I got into this thinking it was only going to be 3 books, but I'll go along. I mean, book every couple of years. And then the next one was, I think, 3 or 4 years. And then it was like 6 years, because I remember waiting for A Dance with Dragons. That was 2011. And now, 2011 or 10. And now, it's 2021. And there's been, I mean, literally a pandemic that kept you locked up at home.
Yep.
How aren't you done with this book after 11 years and a year of a pandemic?
You have a whole cabin.
Yeah, a whole cabin, and you're in
you have servants.
And you know what? I mean, I feel like he's really trolling us, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not fat shaming the man, but hi, I'm 70 and I'm really, really overweight. And I've got 2 books to finish, and oh, look what else I'm doing. I the dude is not live. I'm sorry. The math is his heart's gonna give out probably in 3 years if he's lucky.
All he has to do is go back up to his cabin, get rid of the internet service or whatever's going on up there, and just write. You have people who will bring you whatever you want, like candles. Whatever you need.
like candles.
It doesn't make any sense.
Lavender oil, whatever.
Right.
But give you a massage while you're writing. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, massage.
Play a pan flute.
Oh, hey, I love the pan flute. Well, I'll tell you what. I just looked this up to confirm my dates. I said 1952. I was wrong. The Fellowship of the Ring was published in July of 1954. The Two Towers was published in November of 1954, and The Return of the King was published in October of 1955.
Wow. Bang, bang, bang.
Because it was done.
Right.
Yes, he took 200,000 years, but he published it all at once. Same thing with Victor Hugo. It took him like 28 years to write Les Miserables, but the whole point was he didn't publish it until it was done.
Yeah, he didn't hook people and then, I got other stuff to do. I mean...
Right. And people try to, but Robert Jordan got sick. Yeah. That was sad. George could have finished a couple books. And don't forget, he was also putting out Fire and Blood. And
I was about to say he did finish a couple books. He
really did. Yeah. He put out one of the novellas, right? The 3rd Dunk and Egg book, which I was fine with. I really enjoy the Dunk and Egg books. I'm almost at the point now where I'd rather have him just finish Dunk and Egg. I want to know that story, because I'm so sick and tired of waiting for the other one. Song of Ice and Fire. Would you put publishing dates? Publishing dates. There we go. Let's see. So, Game of Thrones, August 1st, 1996. Clash of Kings, November 16th, 1998. So that's a little over 2 years. A Storm of Swords, August 8th, 2000. So that's another less than 2 years. And then A Dance of Dragons was July 12th, 2011. So that was 11 years. And wait a minute, are we missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, wait a minute. Where's hold on, we're missing one. Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, and A Feast for Crows. When did that come out?
I don't know. 2006?
Feast for Crows. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. For Crows was October 2005. So you got 5 years from A Storm of Swords, and then from A Feast to to Dance of Dragons, 6 years. So I was actually expecting, okay, it's going to be like 7 or 8 years. So I expected, okay, 2011, we'll get it in like 2019, no later than 2020. We had a freaking pandemic that forced him. And Jayne, he doesn't even need the condo or the cabin. He owns a home, and then diagonally across the street, he owns another home where it's just his office. He has all his toys and his Robbie the robot and, his old school DOS, computer that he does all his work on, which if it ever crashes, oh my God. But it's not that I'm shaming the man, but I am sick and tired of defending him also. Like he's a genius. He is one of the greatest writers of fantasy ever. And he's on the Mount Rushmore. And if he finishes these last 2 books, it will be him and Tolkien right next to each other.
Yeah.
They both did something that no other writer in the how do you say genre has ever done, like captivate everybody, normies, nerds, everybody.
Yep. And he just can't wait to tell us about what everything else he's doing.
Yeah. I want people to stop going to him with things. Like his friends go to him with projects to promote, and these networks go to him for shows. Stop it.
Yep.
Let the man finish the book.
How many books do I own? I think there's like 3 or 4 of them where he edited. That's all he did was edit. I don't know what I did with them.
It's like all these people, like, do y'all know the rest of us are waiting for these books to finish? Just leave him alone. If you're going to do a new series, okay, whatever. Leave him out of it. Yeah. Just leave him out of it.
But then again, he's a grown man. He can say no. I think that...
Is he?
He can't.
Is he? I don't know. Oh, the great Orville PJ's here. PJ, you don't always have to do this. I love my Sporky news. Heck, it beats CNN. On Wednesdays and Saturdays, I would agree. This is more up your style, Orville. Being fans who love a certain, IP. And I love A Song of Ice and Fire. I love this book series. And again, I'm not trying to beat down George R.R. Martin, but I am not going to be I'm in between now. I'm just not going to defend him anymore. Like, you've had a pandemic year to finish this. Like, he should have just sat in front of there, had a catheter plugged in, and just went. Yeah, I said catheter.
Like, imagine if after The Empire Strikes Back, George Lucas went, oh yeah, we're going to do Return of the Jedi. Oh, but hey, here's Willow, here's this. And he started doing all the, Howard the second.
Yeah.
And then, it's 1994 and you're realizing all the actors are older and he's old. I mean, it's like,
do you think he doesn't love the world? I wait a minute, maybe not the world, but this story in the world.
I think you were right when you were talking about how he may have written himself into a corner and he's
I believe it.
Way out.
I believe it. Like, think about, just take Dany. Dany is in the Dothraki Sea being surrounded by a Khalasar. Okay. She still has to do whatever she needs to do with them to get that Khalasar to follow her. She then needs to lead them all back to Meereen. Then she has to defeat spoilers, guys. If Sir Barristan doesn't do what he needs to do, she needs to defeat everybody there and then decide, I'm leaving, and take all these people over to Westeros, deal with somebody that's already there, deal with other people that are in charge, deal with whatever the threat in the north is. Like, there's just so much to do. And I know
A lot.
they're going to be big. They're going to be big books, but are they big enough?
Well, I would not judge him. Hire.
I don't. It's irritating.
If you're not going to bother, hire someone to write it.
But it's irritating though when he comes up with other stuff.
Yes,
that's why I've lost my crap.
I'll give you the space and the time to do what you need to do. But when you're telling me, oh, I have a new book, I have a new project, I'm working on this, I'm writing on that, I'm like,
I mean, when House of the Dragon came out and he's going to, at first he said, it was him and the guy from, not Dan and Dave, but the other guy from Game of Thrones, and Sapachnik, we're going to do this together. Like, I almost lost my mind. And then I think he realized nerds everywhere were freaking out, and he backed it off and said, but not until I get the books done. So let's just say he finishes this next book, Winds of Winter. Will he then, go right into A Dream of Spring? Or will he be like, oh, I need to do the She-Wolves of Winterfell for Dunk and Egg?
Well, see, that I do think he's writing them together. I don't think he's separating them. I mean, they'll obviously publish separately, but I think he's writing it in one big thing. I hope so. I hope so too. And
Lady Tauriel, I don't know if I could agree. I do agree, but I don't. Granted, he's world famous now, but he's been known. People have known him. I think actually all the fame may have gone to his head early on, but in the last handful of years, I don't think it's that. I think it's he gets easily ooh, that looks exciting. I want to do that. Ooh, that looks exciting. I want to do that. Ooh, a piece of candy, squirrel, just seems like he's easily distracted from what truly has made him a mega, how many authors are mega stars?
Not many, and that's.
Are you? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're cutting in and out. I missed you. Okay. Say that one more time.
I was just gonna say the weight is truly coming off for me, and understand I've only been watching him for about 2 years with us. I think he thinks it's funny.
He is a troll.
He knows what it's doing to people, and he thinks it's funny and not funny. I mean, I have a friend who has spent thousands of crap on Game of Thrones, books, statues, maps, and he thinks it's funny.
I got the maps. I got every book you could think of. I got the coffee cup that tells me the Night's Watch oath. I got shirts. I'm that guy too. I think I even got socks.
I hope it's a joke. I hope he's much further ahead and he's just messing with us.
Well, for him,
I think that's what it is.
But Jayne, for him to say, in this last post, wait a minute, let's go to it. Hold on, people. Bear with us, because now we're getting pissed. This is no longer, this will be spoilers. So please, step out if you do not want anything spoiled. I'm going to try not to spoil the books, but George, or not a blog, right? Not a blog. George R. Martin, his most recent, not a blog. We're going to read it, people. We're going to read it because I can share things now.
Yay!
Yes. Where's Orville? Orville, dude, when we oh, I knew she was pissed. I knew she would sense it. Come on in, buddy.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's I had other stuff going on Mondays now, but
no worries.
Oh my God, they're talking about it. I have to come in.
Yeah. I have the finger of judgment on this man.
Yes.
So what do you feel there, buddy? I know you have your feelings on this.
Are you talking to me or Teresa?
Yes, I'm talking to you, Chris.
I used to be so in 2019 when season 8 ended. For me, it always goes back to the television series to a certain extent, because that show ended so abysmally, if that's even a word. And I was like, we need the books. It's gonna be different. I mean, everybody knows that it's gonna be different. There's gonna be more information, and he says this, or he says that, or he says this, and so in 2020, I didn't want to be that person that was so negative all the time about like, oh, he's never gonna do it type stuff, but it's kind of hard not to now.
No, it's aggravating. Okay, so here
it really is.
Hold on, let me read this. So, granted, he has little things here and there, but this is from. Does that fit in the screen? Yeah. Okay. This is from February 24th, and it was 9:02 a.m. The story broke a few days ago and is now all over the internet. I am developing a new series for HBO, a science fiction show based on Road Marks, a novel by the late, great Roger Zelazny. And what do you know? This story is actually true, which is more than can be said about most of the stories about me that I stumble over these days, boys and girls. I have said it before and I will say it again, but sometimes it seems no one listens. Do not believe everything you read. You know what I'm reading right now is that you're working on something that's not even one of your IPs. It's not even your book. I mean, how many things are you developing, dude? Anyway, yes, we had not intended to announce anything yet because you knew people were going to get pissed. To be sure, development is a long and uncertain process. Thousands of shows are pitched, hundreds of pilots are written, dozens of pilots are filmed, but only a very few of them ever get greenlit to series.
So you're wasting your time.
Thank you. Yeah. There's a reason that Hollywood insiders call it development hell. And what's the point of announcing projects that might never make it to air? That's why HBO, like most other networks and streamers, prefers to keep these things quiet. No, you also want to keep it quiet because you know people are going to be pissed, man. You know? But then he starts talking about what it is, my career in television and Roger, whatever. But
who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit about what your career is or what you're developing and stuff like that. And I kind of was listening to Jayne, and he's might be further along than what he is. And I'm not an author. I'm not a writer or anything like that. You can get frustrated with something, high expectations and stuff like that. But come on, it's been 10 fucking years.
This blog post is long. Like this, you could have been working on the novel instead of this.
Right. And he goes at the very end, while you are waiting, let me suggest you read Road Marks. No, George, while you're waiting, finish the damn book. I don't
want to read Road Marks. I want that. And that's the reason why I listen. Somebody asked in the chat, like, when are you going to come back on the streams and stuff like that? It's just, I still listen to them and everything, and just lurking wise. But honestly, it's become so disenchanting or like disheartening that it takes everything in me not to like. I love Scott and I love these streams, but I'm so over it.
Oh, and I get it.
We have a passion about talking and all the different avenues, and fans get their expectations up about what they want to see or what they want to hear and stuff like that. But I mean,
look, once again, I don't know if it's hard for me to say it because like Gary, I streamed with, name dropping. I streamed with Gary. I streamed in the last few months with Doomcock, whatever. And those guys both, kind of tried to say like it's never going to happen, man. He's never going to finish the last book. This one may get done in the next year or two. The last book will never get finished. No. And even if that does happen, I'll be heartbroken. I can't lie. I literally, as a grown man, 45 years old, will be heartbroken because George R.R. Martin's books got me back into wanting to read. I never read. I hated reading. I have a learning disability. Sometimes, letters look wrong to me and I stutter, and my poor kid, I think, has the same issue. But I got sucked into this world. I couldn't put the damn books down. So like I can never truly be like George R. R. Martin, F you, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would give other, authors a chance, because I got sucked into his world. I just wish he realized how much that meant to some of us, and that to finish it for all of us, not including him. Let's just finish it, man.
Have you
Let's
written
do
him a
this.
letter?
I'm thinking about it.
You should.
Mhm.
I was thinking about it.
I honestly believe he's being cruel at
Yeah.
this point.
And even with this great Orville Nation, you rock, $5 again. I agree with Jayne. He is further ahead, but he stops to enjoy life a little, so he gets derailed every so often. I wish it was just every so often. And it's not like he stops to enjoy it a little. Like it's been 10 years.
Why does he have to tell us about it?
That's the thing.
That's
I think
Exactly. Jayne and Teresa are correct. And some of the stuff, like you were posting, he was posting I can't talk. Like sample chapters.
yes,
Years ago.
it's been a while.
It's been a while. And I go to Jayne and Teresa, like what they talk about, common nerves and stuff like that about this whole thing, because I could end up cursing so bad.
Oh, curse away.
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
Sorry, Sporking's channel.
Oh, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that last sample chapter.
And then he tells us he's rewritten them. So I mean, there's that too.
When did Fire and Blood Part 1 come out? In 2018, right before. I think
we all thought.
I think it was 2018.
Hold on, I can tell you, because I got it right here.
Yeah.
So real quick, when did that one come out? The Winds of Winter. So the Winds of Winter. Oh, God, I hate this when this site does that.
It's called ad blocker, Scott.
Dude, I just got a computer. I don't know shit.
Oh wait, you're sharing this?
Yeah, this is me, dude.
Holy shit!
This is
Yeah,
all
cool?
me.
Computer.
Is it-
Scott, scroll back up.
Uh-huh.
No, go
Well,
back up. Keep
okay.
going.
Hold on, let
If
me-
you look, it tells you when. Keep
Well,
going up.
Sansa, Tyrion.
It looks like.
Well, these are all Dance
I'm
of
so sorry.
Dragon ones.
That's
oh, don't worry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So Tyrion was in 2012.
Okay.
Barristan was in 2013. So when asked in March 2015 whether more preview chapters might, Martin replied yes. However, in February 2017, Martin stated that he is not likely to read any new sample chapters. So I want to say the last one was The Forsaken, which if you guys have not heard Gary reading this, dude, Gary, I want Gary to read these books. He did a great job. But I want to say he released this one in 2015. And the worst part is it's the best chapter I've ever read of his. Like it was horror.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, such a good chapter, man. Such a good chapter. I don't know. And I do agree with Orville. Somebody else might just end up if God forbid something happens to George R. R. Martin before he finishes it, his publishers is what they'll just have somebody else finish it. He must have enough notes and stuff. Wheel of Time-esque, right? Roger Haynes. I haven't seen you in a little bit, buddy. $1.99 Canadian super sticker, and it is a thumbs up. And I can see that now because I have multiple tags open. Darren asked me to marry him. I'm taken, buddy. Taken. God, I love
You can
that.
add one more.
I mean, that trunk is pretty hot. At Sporkerz News, install Ad Blocker Plus in your browser. Is that all it's called? Ad Blocker Plus?
Yes, it's just ad blocker.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. I don't know these things, dude. I've been using a Chromebook for like 5 years. Rennie, E2. I don't know.
I think that the last holdouts threw in the towel with this latest announcement.
I'm one of them.
yes.
But I still am. I'm such a beaten girlfriend or domestic partner. I'm such a like I got a big black eye. I'm like, yeah, but if he releases it tomorrow, I'm going to read every single word of that.
Absolutely,
and then
I will.
wait
I will be the
another
first
10
one to
years.
say that.
Oh. I mean, I'm kind of, my trunk is all yours, Sport.
Wow.
That's great. I'm kind of wondering, because I've read all these sample chapters. I kind of want to start doing some breakdown videos on them. what is he going to change?
Well, that's the thing. You got these sample chapters out here. You got people all excited about them, and then you tell us that you've actually edited them since. So what we've read, we don't even have. It's like you've given us nothing then.
Nothing. That's the problem, dude. Like, if you're going to change, first of all, don't touch the Forsaken. But if you're going to change all these, like, has he done any, like, just some tweaks maybe? Or are you rewriting everything? Then let me just say it's a whole book we're waiting for. So he just announced that he did hundreds and hundreds of pages, but his books are like 1,000 pages long. So how close are we? If you did this year alone, hundreds and hundreds of pages, what did you do in the last 9 years?
Exactly.
Just get that married couple to do it.
But that's why I think
Right.
if we accept that he's a troll,
Right.
he may really be much further along. But it's like Teresa was saying, it's hurtful to your fans to do this to us. Even I get he's probably upset. I'm sure there are some toxic fans who are like,
oh, definitely
going overboard.
Absolutely.
But you still have the vast majority who are supportive of you, who just want the books.
What bothers me though, Jayne, is that this fandom is two. There's really angry people like you're talking about. And then there's the apologists, which I love their channels. They're great people. I don't know them personally. But like, if you talk badly about George R.R. Martin, you're cut from that link of all those YouTube channels. Like none of them probably would ever have me on because I get upset. Like, I don't apologize for it's not like I'm bashing George. It's how I feel. And how I feel is like hurt that he's doing all these other things and not finishing this book series that literally could be one of the greatest fantasy book series ever.
And people are hungering for that. And again, I'm going to bring up the show, and I'm going to continue to bring it up because it's portrayed so differently in the books, and there's more rich history for the characters and their backstories, and you pay attention to it, and you know that can be meticulous and methodical and stuff like that. But the longer it goes on, the longer, I mean, it's like leading a horse to water type thing. I mean, ugh.
Orville, stop giving me money, dude. God, man.
Give me money.
Yeah, right. Number one fan, Pear jumping up with his headband on. Yeah. Can we please, even though Orville has way more subscribers than me, can we put his link in the chat, somebody? Rennie, we were talking about this too. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. You have been nothing but good to me since this thing, we started this pretty much around the same time. So thank you. We've been talking about this too, Rennie. He did paint himself into a corner. The Dany, they call it the Marinese knot. The Dany story has gotten out of control. He has Dany across the continent of Essos while other people are dealing with stuff in Meereen. How does she deal with the Khalasar, get them all to travel back because George doesn't use the Littlefinger steam train. It doesn't take a day, it takes weeks, and then get them across the sea to deal with, the guy who's in Storm's End right now, the guy who's in King's Landing, and then go north to deal with that. Like, it's so much left. So much left.
You mean the Westeros Express?
The Westeros Express. That's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, he did say we could lock him up, and no one took. I mean, literally, if he ever steps foot, right? If he ever steps foot in New Zealand, they should just lock his ass up. Yeah. There he is, Orville Nation. All right, enough with this. Let's close it out. It's been over 2 hours. You ladies have been amazing. Thank you guys for going. So let's start with Miss Martin Muses, because I know you got to jump on another stream.
Well, you can find me at Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. And you can find me on Twitter, Teresa2_Martin. My latest video is about nuts.
That's awesome. And our good friend Christy, who I miss Christy.
Don't highlight me. I
miss you being here.
I just like to support so many channels. So anyone who's in the chat with a smaller channel, please subscribe to them. Who's on the panel, subscribe. I mean, follow me on Twitter if you want to, where I just talk about BS and I get pissed at everything.
I love it.
And since it's Monday and I haven't said this at all, if Stephen Walton is listening on a rewatch, go suck a dick. Thanks, Scott.
Oh my God. That is awesome. Thank you. When are you going to have me on your channel? It's been a long time, buddy. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've
you're always invited. Okay, Jayne Theory.
Yes. You can find me here on YouTube, where I post movie and television reviews and occasionally some pop culture commentary. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Jayne Theory.
Thank you, Jayne. And thank you to everybody out there. Renier.
Nuts.
These nuts. Oh, I don't like being blown up myself. Darren, like my father before me. We had Lady Tauriel, who I wish was up here with us because I love her thoughts on these things. Hopefully your internet next week will be working. The great Makini 90, please put your link in the chat there, Makini. Guys, let's get Makini to 1,000. He does really great drawing streams. He's going to do some time-lapse stuff where he talks over it. I'm really excited to see that. Shane Nolan, as always, I now starting to consider you one of my historians when it comes to this. My go-to in the chat for when we don't know what's going on. The Time Prophet. And if Teresa, if you have to get going, you could just jump out.
And she did.
Wow, that was quick. She's like, fuck you, motherfucker. Endgamer 93. Orville Nation, thank you, buddy. We'll get a dump, get you on the dump soon enough. Who else was there? There was a bunch of people up here. Roger Haynes, thank you. Culture Casino, Christy, thank you for the chat money too, or the sticker.
You're welcome, jackass.
You're welcome. A lot of my people probably went to bed, like Joachim's out in Europe. DJ Odyssey, love seeing that dude here. And everybody else. Tina, all you guys rock. But this one right here, this goes out to my subscribers, which I do have to update because I think it's
your name here.
What? Yeah, your name here.
I can't wait to see this outro. I always laugh at it.
What? One of my your name here's isn't updated to be. Let me make sure I got this right. Small time and according to Christy. So make sure you guys check them out too. But let's stick a fork in it. Oh, fork. Fuck, that's a bad word. Spork in it. We are done, people. Peace. He's so hot. So hot. It's so clear.
That's so funny.
Your name here. Your name here. Your name here.
Blame Culture Casino. That's Bye, everybody.